Recording? Alright. How you doing, everybody? My name is Sergeant Tetreault. Today we're going to be going over some information covering the fiscal year 2012 retention mission highlights. Next slide. The next 5 to 10 years, everybody should have a long-term plan. If you don't have a long-term plan, maybe you should start thinking about creating one. If you do, what is it? Because the next 5 to 10 years are going to happen regardless, whether you're doing this or something else. So we're going to go over some reasons today why you should stay in the Army and your options. Next slide. Next slide. The Army is reducing its force by 50,000 soldiers over the next 3 years. Those are the facts. Next slide. Over 50% of this number is going to happen within the first 12 months of the three-phase process. So, for those of you that are coming up on your short time, something to keep in mind, because if you don't re-enlist now, you might actually have the window close on you. Next slide. There are options for you. Keep going. Next slide. Total stats for the Army. There are 170 MOSs in the Army. Today, 91 of them are overstrained. Obviously, that's a high percentage. Out of aviation, which affects everybody in this room, 18 total jobs, 15 of those are overstrained. So the percentage is much higher in our particular branch. Next slide. Fiscal year 2012 ETS update. You can start re-enlisting 1 October and your window closes 31 January 2012. Now what does that mean? Put it in perspective. Normally the Army retains about 55,000 people per year. We're going to get to the numbers of this coming mission. Re-enlistment eligibility date, as I just stated, you're going to fit into the 1 October to 31 September 2012 era. Any time within that year, this is applying to you. Everybody in this room should apply here. Next slide. Are you overstrained? What does overstrained mean? It means that the Army has too many people in your job. Headquarters Army releases a statement monthly with an MOS strength, so you can see me or the career counselor about that. If you are balanced, you can stay in your job. If you are understrained, you can stay in your job. If you are overstrained, you have 2 options. Re-enlist to do a different job or get out of the Army. Next slide. Normal re-enlistment goal for a fiscal year, as I was saying, is about 45 to 55,000 people. This coming year, 10 to 12,000 soldiers, that's it. We're operating about 20% of total re-enlistment goal, and it's only going to happen within the first 4 months instead of 12 like everybody's used to, or 24 some of the older systems are used to. Next slide. So, how does this affect you? Next slide. Keep going. The Army is going to start doing precision management. They're going to start managing your MOS specifically. Instead of meeting a general quota, they're going to say 15 Golfs have now met their 100 MOS re-enlistment quota. That MOS is now cut off. 15 Romeos, they're cut off. 15 Quebec, they're now cut off. All based on the number of enlistments individually. Next slide. When your quota is met, the window will close regardless of when this is supposed to happen. As I said, you're going to have like 4 months. If the window or the quota is met within the first 3 weeks, the window shuts off. The 4 months no longer applies. Next month. Next slide. If you're not re-enlisted in time, you will have. You'll have to separate from the Army. Next. So the key word here is be proactive. Don't wait. If you decide to wait and the window closes on you, there's nothing else that you can do about it. The Army is not going to allow us any further options to assist you. Next slide. You can start re-enlisting now. The goal is to start by 1 October, but career counselors and myself can start building your packets early, get you in the system, so that way on 1 October all you have to do is raise your hand. Say your oath, and you're good to go. You don't need to wait until the very end. 90-day window. For those of you that have a short time 90-day window, ETSing in January, your 90-day window will start in October. Once your 90-day window happens, no matter whether you're in your re-enlistment eligibility time period or not, you're locked out from re-enlistment. Thank you for your service. Time to go. Next. Alright. For those of you who want to get out, here's some really important statistics from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, Department of Labor. Alright. 18 to 24 years of age is the most common age to get out of the Army. Right now, the current income for that is about $56,000 for a specialist in that age range with 8 years time of service. We'll see that on the next slide. So remember that number, we'll come back to it. 21% unemployment for veterans. The national average is 19%. So obviously as veterans, in that class, we're higher in unemployment rate than the average American in the same age range. For those of you that are thinking about going to get aviation contracting jobs, it's an excellent career. However, right now, the major contractors that we see here are on a hiring freeze. So take that into account when you're looking for these jobs, okay? Next slide. The RMC calculator tells you exactly what you need to make on the outside. in compared to what you're making now. The average income for a specialist with 8 years, total compensation all in about $56,000. That's pretty impressive compared to the national average, which is $40,000. It's a $16,000 deficit. Also, that doesn't include the tax liability breaks that you get for being a soldier. Next slide. In conclusion, the Army is reducing its forces again by 50,000 troops. The window for you guys that want to stay and avoid the reduction is 1 October to 31 January 2012. If you are overstrength, you will likely separate if you wait. So I want everybody to understand just how important it is. 2 years before you're eligible to join any military service should you decide to get out of the military. It's not where you could do like you used to, get out. 30 days later, go and sign up for the Navy or the Air Force, or even come back in the Army. Now it's 2 years, congressionally mandated. Next slide. Are there any questions? Thank you very much for your time.